definitely a BMF affiliate from the Bay Area, and he has some things to say about this. Now, this is a little bit old interview, but this is an interview that I did, and shout out my boy Ghost, man. We gonna play it.
Did you know Gatling, or do you know Cuffy?
I don't know Cuffy. I know of Cuffy. I don't know him personally.
Okay.
No, I don't.
Are you familiar with what's going on right now with Cuffy and these interviews he's doing?
I'm recently familiar. I'm doing my homework on this shit now. All this shit is pretty new to me. I just got all this shit the last few days since this nigga been doing these interviews.
Okay. So you kind of caught up to speed, or you really hadn't did your research yet?
I mean, I'm kind of caught up to speed with what they saying. For sure. I didn't look at it from interview. I'm just looking at YouTube shit. I haven't talked to some people that I need to talk to. I haven't, and here's the tricky thing with this shit, man, is what I'm seeing, it's some shit that's facts. There's a facts that the Tammy bitch did some bullshit or whatever, and that she owned the rights and all the shit. I pretty much know that that's facts. Now the facts is if she did some backdoor rash shit. Now the question is, one, was she doing it with due knowledge, or was she just doing it on some underhanded shit as being an informant because she fucking with the police? So that's what got to come out of this. You feel me? So it's a lot of shit. Just because she could have met the niggas through Meech or whatever the situation may be, but she could have been on her own bullshit. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true. Let's give her the benefit of the doubt and let's go on that, bro. Let's
we gotta give Meech.
Let's give Meech the benefit of the doubt and let's just say that he didn't know nothing about it, right? But check this out. They still dealing with Tammy to this day. You don't feel like that's dishonorable, bro?
If all this is going on, if Meech know all this happened,
so let me stop there right there before you answer that. So he asking him the question, like, do you think this is dishonorable? You know what I'm saying? Like, you knowing this and you still dealing with this lady, she got your life rights. She in business with 50 Cent as well as Meech, at that point to that day, and now you hearing about this series getting canceled, right? You hearing that BMF series is getting canceled. Me personally, I think it Ben was about to get canceled. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I think there's a whole play for the underlay. You know what I'm saying? I think that 50 Cent series usually go from 4 to 5 seasons, and BMF is on 4 or 5. You know what I'm saying? Right now. So it was going for his last season. Now, if they was going to do a spinoff, that's something different. But how much of a spinoff you going to do before you actually put out the the featured film? The movie, the movie should gross hundreds and millions of dollars, upwards of probably $500 million. This is a story, American story of a guy that's from Detroit that was pulling in damn near $500 million. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people are intrigued with this story, and 50 Cent definitely brought it to the light, because I was talking to somebody the other day and they was like, yeah, a lot of people already knew who Big Meech was. I said, yeah, a lot of people did, but what about South Dakota? You know what I'm saying? What about Utah? What about North Dakota? What about these other territories that's even in the United States, let alone that's outside of this country? What about Canada? Did they know about BMF, Big Meech? Maybe because of Rick Ross, but even then, they probably didn't know the story. They just hear Rick Ross saying Big Meech, just like they heard him say Larry Hoover. So the thing is, I think that this definitely was a play for the underlay. Like, you know what? It's coming to an end anyway. You know what I'm saying? Then you want to play with me? Let's play ball. That's where I'm looking at 50 Cent, the way 50 Cent coming. And when you talk about this loyalty, I do think that in a way, Big Meech, he had to know that Rick Ross and 50 Cent been having a little beef for the longest. You know what I'm saying? His son would have had to tell him that, because not to mention, they just had a whole situation with Southwest T when Southwest T got up with Lil Supreme's son. Y'all know the beef between Supreme and 50 Cent. That almost caused the series to go bye-bye. To the point that 50 Cent was, basically saying that he don't rock with him, apparently. You know what I'm saying? And shit, they were even putting on social media how Lil Meech was picking a side. Like, you know what I'm saying? He was going to go with 5. You know what I'm saying? 5 is 50 Cent. That's what Lil Meech called him. Let's get to this.
All this is truly going on is definitely dishonorable. And that's
no. What I'm saying is, let's just say that Meech didn't know about Tammy was gonna set up Cuffy and the Mexican nigga Suarez or whatever, right?
Right.
But after he's found out, because everybody knows she's an informant now, They're still doing the show with her. They're still dealing with her. She was still on the red carpet for BMF with Lil Meech and all them. Don't you feel like that's dishonorable, bro? Like to still be dealing with her knowing that she got your man banged for 30 years?
Yeah, it's definitely, if it happened like that, it's definitely dishonorable, but you have to look at something else. Like if she owned everything, if she owned the rights to that, like you're not getting her off the red carpet. Like you understand that too? That's her shit. So
yeah, but you still
got
the option to not do business with her though, bro.
But not doing business with her is giving her your whole life story too, for sure. So first of all, before I can even speculate on this, bro, I can't. It's hard to really speak on something that you don't know nothing. I can't let YouTube, because I know niggas I need to talk to, and I know that I can get a little bit more information than what's just floating around on this internet. And that's the thing about me. I don't live off this internet shit or none of this shit. Like I'm more of an in-depth person. That's why I came on here. Like what I told y'all is in depth. None of that shit is made up. Blue will tell you himself. He found out that Meech thought he was a rat behind from Meech calling me and us being on the phone at the same time. So I'm not, I ain't saying about no clout chasing, ain't about none of that shit. Like I don't play that game. Like I said, I did 10 years in the feds behind a rat, and that's why I stand on this shit so hard. And Blue know that. Blue been around me, lived in my house. He know how I feel about rats. So that's kind of why it surprised me that we would even be having this kind of conversation. And so as far as the shit with me, like I say, bro, that's, here we going by a lot of speculation that's not all the way clear yet.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, there's speculation that he supposed to have set some people up or whatever it may be, but none of them people went to jail or none of the shit. Cuffy's supposed to be in jail for something whole different. So you understand that too, right? So it's got to be some pieces gotta fit first everywhere for this to make sense. So like I say, this is all brand new to me, so I still got some people to talk to. Definitely got some people to talk to, I'm gonna Meech being one of them. You feel me? Like I got my own questions. And that's what I'm saying. I can talk to bro. Like I can go and ask him like, what's going on, my nigga? So that's gonna be my thing. Is I need to find out and really need to talk. I'm like that. Before I get to try to speculating about this and that, you really got to know what you up against.
Yeah. So when Blue been running around in these interviews and shit, kicking it like he was running this tour bus around and all this shit. Basically, that was on your back, right? Like you was taking care of most of that, right?
So let me tell you what happened.
Yo, it's Duff for the Cloud Chaser TV, man. I'm back up in this.
I've known Meech my whole life. I look at him like an uncle. Like this situation has been completely devastating on so many different levels. And there's still so many questions that aren't answered. At this point, I can only shed light on what I know for sure to be facts. And hopefully one day I will have the complete truth. But in 2011, around that time, Meech reached out to my dad in regards to creating a BMF movie. So Meech hooked my dad up with a woman named Tammy Cowins. At the time, Tammy was Meech's power of attorney. Also, she owned the life rights. So my dad was working with Meech, Tammy, T, basically trying to work on a movie deal. So
what Meech and Tammy did was called a third-party cooperation. What happened was originally I was put with Tammy. I paid for the script. I paid $250,000. That's my script. That's why 50 when he came in, because we put a cease order in through my attorney. That's why they couldn't do a motion picture. That's why you didn't see the BMF story on the big screen. So 50 ran it through that star shit, then he ran that other corny shit that he do. So what happened was, homie, I wasn't even the original target. They wanted to get a little Mexican. He's actually a cartel member out of LA named Suarez. You'll see his name in the paperwork. Fidel Suarez. He was their initial target. You feel me?
Right.
He was their initial target. But with me, calling in while they were trying to set up Fidel Suarez. Not about it, you know what I mean? I didn't put.
Let's get to this, bro. Let's get to that, man. Like, DEA employed over 18,000 informants, many earning up to $1 million, bro. Because here's the thing, bro. When they picking up these cases, you get a percentage of the proceeds that they picked up from these guys. You know what I'm saying? So it said one of the federal agencies, the DEA, had over 18 active confidential sources assigned to domestic offices, with over 9,000 of these receiving approximately $237 million in payments. Come on, bro. Y'all know what's going on? Do you know what's going on? This coming from the DOJ. They reported this in 2017, bro. Who knows what the number is today?
Get your name in this paperwork. How did you get in this paperwork? These are sworn documents. These are affidavits that have you listed as my unindicted co-conspirator. These are sworn documents. These affidavits went in front for wiretaps in front of a magistrate under the penalty of perjury. So you think them white folks gonna put themselves in a trick bag by putting the Meech Splintery name in there as my unindicted co-conspirator? You're my unindicted co-conspirator, man. How did you get in my paperwork?
How did you get in there?
And now there doesn't seem to be any anger or vitriol coming from your perspective about none of this.
People are having a hard time accepting and understanding. They just don't want to believe it.
He knows this, and everybody else knows this. Anything with Tammy comes from him. Not only that, what she testified in court to. What Special Agent Keith Cromer fired, disgraced DEA agent Keith Cromer.
Keith Cromer is the one who was trying to fuck Tammy. And that's why this deal didn't even go through. You know what I'm saying? Allegedly. But this is why he was allegedly fired, right? Let's get to it.
Who she was having an illicit sexual relationship with, which killed their case, which killed his time cut.
A St. Louis man who led a local gang and ordered 2 murders was sentenced Friday to 27 years in prison, the U.S. Attorney's Office said. Deon Lamont Cuffy Gatling, 53, was the leader of a gang that brought heroin, cocaine, methamphetamine, and marijuana in bulk, and sold the drug in the St. Louis area from 2009 to 2014, prosecutors said. In order to retaliate against the man who cooperated with federal investigators that sent Gatling's brother, Deron Wani Gatling, to prison. Gatling ordered the murder of Theodis Howard. He was killed on the street outside of a St. Louis clinic on April 5th, 2010. Gatling drove a co-defendant, Andre Rush, and 2 shooters to the scene. Rush was there to point out Howard for the shooters. Deron Gatling died of an asthma attack in prison. Gatling had Rush shoot one of the drug dealer's associates, Terrence Morgan, on May 2nd, 2013 in the alley in St. Louis, Fox Park neighborhood. Gatling thought Morgan's phone was tapped and that the DEA couldn't use the recordings in the court if Morgan was dead. In murdering 2 men who knew about the criminal acts, Mr. Gatling took aim at the very foundation of the justice system, the U.S. Attorney Jeff Jensen said in a statement announcing the sentence. Gatling was brought down by a DEA investigation that began in Atlanta with an undercover officer who arranged to supply heroin and cocaine to Gatling. Gatling thought the man was affiliated with a drug cartel. But the nearly...
Yeah, like as y'all can see, this shit getting deep, right? So they basically trying to say that Gatling trying to say that he was indicted and he wasn't even had anything going on at the time, and it was all based on conspiracy from a script that he helped write when it came to the original BMF script. You know, this supposed to have been a movie. Now y'all get in the comments and y'all let me know what y'all think. Me personally, I'm thinking I heard this story before. I want to say it was Doc Hicks years ago. Again, y'all let me know in the comments, but let's finish playing it.
4-year period that has passed since the indictment of Gatling and 3 others also revealed misconduct in the DEA's Atlanta's office. Defense lawyer repeatedly argued that evidence in the case should be tossed. They claim a DEA supervisor in Atlanta had an affair with a confidential informant who helped set up Gatling. The now former supervisor, Keith Cromer, admitted that the relationship violated DEA's policy, prohibiting more than an arm's length relationship, but he denied having sex with her or falsifying reports to justify $212,000 in payments to her. Gatling pleaded guilty in February to 5 charges: cocaine distribution, conspiracy, heroin distribution conspiracy, attempting to possess both heroin and cocaine, and possession of one or more firearms in furtherance of a drug trafficking crime with deaths involved. Andrew Alfonso Rush has pleaded guilty to drug charges and a gun charge linked to 2 deaths as part of a deal in which prosecutors and his lawyers have agreed to recommend 25 years in prison. Timothy Lamont Rush, another man linked to the gang, pleaded guilty to drug charges and was sentenced May 3rd to the time he'd already served in prison. A 4th man, Lorenzo Gibbs, has yet to be sentenced on drug charges.
St. Louis, a federal drug agent denied in testimony here Friday that he ever slept with a confidential informer, but he admitted developing a personal relationship with her. The conduct of Keith Cromer, who was a group supervisor at the Drug Enforcement Administration office in Atlanta, is the subject of a continuing hearing on whether charges can move to trial against 4 alleged St. Louis drug ring members, 2 of them accused of murder. St. Louis, a federal drug agent denied in testimony here Friday that he ever slept with a confidential informer, but he admitted developing a personal relationship with her. The conduct of Keith Cromer, who was a group supervisor at the Drug Enforcement Administration office in Atlanta, is the subject of a continuing hearing on whether charges can move to trial against 4 alleged St. Louis drug members, 2 of them accused of murder. Officials have acknowledged that allegations of impropriety involving Cromer and a woman known as CS1 for confidential source 1 are the subject of an internal investigation by the DEA and a criminal investigation by the Justice Department. CS1 has been paid $212,000 in DEA funds for her help with cases and played a role in providing information for a wiretap order that investigators said helped bring down the St. Louis ring. According to documents obtained by the Post-Dispatch, defense attorneys are using information provided by federal prosecutors to claim that DEA investigators may have used CS1 to vouch for improperly obtained information or even their hunches. The lawyers have questioned whether there was ever evidence to prove several of the claims that prompted a judge to approve wiretapping in the St. Louis case. Cromer told U.S. Magistrate Judge Shirley Padmore Mensah, "There's no salacious activity going on." He acknowledged turning to CS1 for comfort after his son died of leukemia in 2011, saying the DEA's Employee Assistance Program had failed him. He said he was depressed, anxious, and had survivor's guilt, but was afraid to let anyone else know. "In hiding, I chose the wrong person," he said. He said he and CS1 had been to dinner, were in the same theater to see a Three Stooges movie, and had been on 2 vacations, but stayed in separate rooms and were never intimate. He said sometimes his brother, who was dating CS1's neighbor, had invited her along. Cromer is married, or was at the time. He denied falsifying reports to justify payments to CS1 and said no subordinates had either. "There's nothing wrong with the work," he insisted. "That work is solid." CS1 was paid $2,500 per month by the DEA. Cromer said that there was no written agreement, but that her work was recorded each month to justify her payment. He said that the agency had the same arrangement with others and that his supervisors were aware of it. Cromer said the allegations of impropriety surfaced in May 2014. By June 2015, his security clearance had been revoked. He said DEA investigators just took it on faith that he committed misconduct. But, he said, "Nobody asked me about it." Twice during Friday's questioning, Cromer asserted his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. In one instance, the judge said he already waived it by testifying on Wednesday. Later, he invoked it when asked about his relationship with CS1, but then answered the questions anyway. Cromer has not been charged. He said Friday that he had been suspended. He suggested that CS1 made the allegations after realizing the potential consequences of her cooperation with the DEA, including possible exposure as a source. Testimony in secret. It is not known what CS1 said in court about the relationship. She testified Monday in a closed hearing. Much of this week's testimony was taken in secret, with a reporter kept out. The Post-Dispatch reported online Monday night that defense lawyers for 4 St. Louis suspects claimed the allegation against Cromer should result in disqualifying key evidence in the case.
Hear what he's saying.
The 4, Dion L. Gatling, Andre Alfonso Rush, Timothy